Friends, so right now I am making some brown marzipan because we are going to be making a Sven Bread. This is in celebration of the upcoming movie Frozen Epic Adventure, which has Olaf and Sven in search of the most perfect holiday for Elsa and Anna. So let's get started. First we have to unwrap the crescent roll package, then take the dough out. I've already lightly floured the marble here because it's a little sticky to work with. We're going to roll out the ball just a little bit. This way we can get the shape of Sven's head. Next, after you roll out the dough, you want to find the right shape to start creating Sven's head. And for me, it seems like his head would be more this at the top here. That way I can create his eyes in this spot, and then I'm going to have his chin down here. It's a little bit like playing with Play-Doh a little bit. Now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to take some more crescent roll dough and we're going to make it into a smaller ball, and then we're going to flatten it on down here. Okay, so now we're going to take some more dough and we're rolling out some antlers, and figure out how long you want your antler to be. You might want it to have a real short antler or a long antler. Give it a little bit more of an antler look. We're attaching some more on here. Now we're going to make the ears. Roll the dough into a little bit of a ball, and then stick the ears on right on the side of his head here, and then kind of flatten it so it's a little bit like, almost like a shape of a teardrop. Here is the Sven Bread. I put it on an ungreased baking pan because that's what the instructions said on the crescent roll packaging. And I had to be really careful about moving it because the dough does kind of move around as you're shifting it off of the table onto your baking pan. Now I'm going to bake it for about 15 minutes at a degree of 350 degrees, but you want to be checking what your package says and follow those instructions as well. Okay, so here's a tip. If you're not exactly sure how to mold Sven's face, look at the very last photo of our video and you can see the shape of his face and use that as your guide. So I just took our Sven out of the oven and I just need it to cool down. You can see it definitely puffed up a little bit, and then we will decorate him and put on his eyes, nose, and mouth. So next you're going to need your rolling pin, and you might want to put down some confectionary sugar because it's easier to roll out the marzipan when there's a little bit of confectionery sugar on the countertop. And we're going to be making Sven's eyes and nose and his mouth area, and we're going to use almond paste. That's typical Scandinavian for sure, which is perfect for this type of bread recipe. So now I'm just kneading out the marzipan just to loosen it up so we can make the shapes. Now I'm using a rolling pin to flatten out the marzipan. So next I'm going to cut out the shape of Sven's nose with a circular, actually it's a back of a little lid that I found that is actually the perfect shape for his nose. And then carefully remove it so it doesn't tear apart. seems a little rough around the edges, and it's because of the knife that I was using. So you can also pat this in to make it softer looking. So next I'm cutting out the shape of Sven's eyes. This is actually the bottom of the food paste for the brown color that we're going to need for his features on his face. And it's the perfect size for his eyes. Okay, and then we're going to lift it off and see if we can push this off. And then next, we're going to try to make the shape of the eyes kind of a little bit of a, maybe you could say like an Easter egg shape, or, you know, a little bit of an oval shape. So here's another eye. You can see this one's slightly a little bigger than this one, so I'm going to play with this one a little bit more. Don't want to have it too big. Now I find working the marzipan or the almond paste easier to work with if you just knead it up a little bit, which is what I'm doing before I add in the food coloring. So now we're going to add in the food coloring paste. It actually is quite strong, so you just want to add in a little bit at a time. You know, it's going to vary depending on the size of marzipan you have, and as well the color that you're looking for too. And then just start kneading this together. Your hands will get a little bit of color on it as well, for sure. Great, so now we have a really nice brown color. I had to knead this quite a bit until the color got completely filled in and there isn't anything beige or almondy popping through. Okay, so what you can do is just take a little piece of the brown marzipan and just roll it into a ball. Take the back of a knife and then press it down, and that way you can kind of get a circle, and then lift it off with the knife so you don't tear the edges, and then put it on their eye there. And then you have your eyes. So next what I'm doing is rolling out a very thin rope of the brown marzipan for the eyebrows and the mouth and the nose. So there, I think this is thin enough. You can always certainly test it out on the bread to see how it fits in on his face. So let's cut up some slices now. So as you can see here, I have the eyes, the mouth, nose area, and I've already started pre-rolling out the marzipan to get the antlers as well, and the mouth and the nose. So first let's put on his nose, because we want to make sure that it fits correctly, and just mold it in so it fits in snug all the way around his nose and mouth area. And then you just kind of want to put the nostril section on the side of his nose. Give him a little bit of a smile there. Add on the eyes. Then put on the eyebrows. And again, you don't want the eyebrows to be too domineering. You may have to press it in a little bit just to get it to hold. Next, you want to roll out the marzipan and flatten it and start making shapes for the antlers. And then once you have the shapes, press them down onto the bread. You want to be sure they hold in place. So as well, I had extra crescent roll dough, so I made some snowflakes using cookie cutters. It kind of gives it more of a themed look when you present your Sven bread to your family and friends. So if this is your first time here, we would love to have you subscribe, because every week we come out with traditional and modern Scandinavian recipes to help celebrate with your family and friends. Have a great week. Tusen tack, guys. Bye.